Welcome everyone. You are joining with us the third Nyeleni Global Forum Media streaming. So we have had a special guest from the Jordan. He's Mr. Khalid. Hello, Mr. Khalid.
Hello.
Hello. So can we know what is your background and why did you came to Sri Lanka for the third Nyeleni Global Forum?
Thank you. I'm Khalid Khawaldi from Jordan, from a pastoralist community in the southern part of Jordan. I'm representing Dana and Qadisiyya local community cooperative, and we are a community of pastoralists that used to wander with our animals in Jordan, Palestine, Syria, Saudi Arabia, and Iraq. And currently I am a member, the global coordinator of the World Alliance of Mobile Indigenous Peoples and Pastoralists. This is a global movement of the pastoralists that works for networking and helping the pastoralists around the world, which are like more than 300 millions of pastoralists around the world, and they cover or use something like more than half of the area of the land. So the objective of the World Alliance of Mobile Indigenous Peoples and Pastoralists, what we call it WAMIP, is to gather these communities of the pastoralists, lobbying for their rights, interests, and concerns against different issues that face them, and like, for example, climate change, a conservation project that doesn't care about their interest, and many others. Participating in the Nyeleni Forum, it is an opportunity for us as a local community, as a pastoralist network around the world, to, of course, to share our concerns, share our issues, and share our successful stories with other peer communities from either pastoralists or farmers or other peoples or groups from the social movement around the world. With this sharing and learning, we can, of course, learn from each other. We can learn from successful stories and from failure stories that we have all around the world, because when we discuss these issues together as communities from different parts of the world, we find many similarities with the issues that we face, like, for example, the marginalization of the small producer or small farmers. Really, it's the same. You can find it in India, Sri Lanka, in Africa, in Jordan, for example, in many countries. So the marginalization is one issue. The lack of recognition of the role of these communities or producers or small farmers in the economy, in the ecosystem services, and in the conservation of culture and the environment. So the lack of recognition cause the lack of respect of these communities, and most of the time they are looked as backward, and they are not participating in the economy and the development of the countries they believe or they belong to, which is not true, because these approaches, they don't consider the eco-service that we provide as communities or as pastoralists or small producers. And I think the pandemic proved that small producer or small farmers, small pastoralists, and of course when we talk about pastoralists, we don't mean the industrial livestock keeping, but we are talking about communities that their life based on keeping animals, and their culture and life depends on that. So the pandemic proved that these small farmers or pastoralists or producers they are more, I think, resilient to such pandemic that we have faced and may face in the future. And we can rely on them on the continuity of producing food for the world, even in such a crisis. While we have faced that, like big industrial farming or livestock keeping was failed because of that of the pandemic.
Okay, so you said a lot of issues and a lot of things about your communities. Your community has a long history, we know. So in the current Jordan politics situations, what are their answers? What are their policies for your community issues?
Yeah. Unfortunately, if we talk about the recognition and the role of the pastoralists of a small producer is not really considered in the policies or the strategies that's taking place in Jordan, for example, likewise in other countries, unfortunately. And this is why, for example, our customary land was easily changed given to industry, for cement industry, for starting a conservation project on our customary land without our consent, for example. And these changes in the land use and taking us from our customary land cause an issue for the pastoralists in my community, that they had to sell most of their animals, and most of them try to find other job opportunities. And unfortunately, because of the economic situation in Jordan and of high unemployment, they are facing now unemployment, and this is really a catastrophic result of unresponsible policies to the needs and the concerns of the pastoralists, and of course it applies to small producers or small farmers.
So what are you demand from the Third Nyeleni Global Forum communities?
Of course, this is really a free and encouraging space to express about concerns, and as I've already mentioned, that it is a space where we can learn from each other and support each other. We have, like as I told you, we have like pastors all around the world. We have the small producers or small like family farmers and small farmers, small-scale farmers all around the world, and other marginalized groups in the world. While we are gathering here, it is an opportunity to learn exactly what are the issues that we face and why we are facing them, and how we support each other to overcome these issues on different level, on a political level, so that we can call for the international organization like responsible for the introducing these frameworks like FAO, IFAD, and many others who are responsible about creating frameworks or international policies that is for the favor of the food producer like pastoralists or small scale farmers. This is on, for example, on the international level and a political level. Of course, it also can apply on a regional level, where we expect the Nyeleni to lobby and advocate for considering the concerns, the interest of the pastoralists and other groups from the Nyeleni movement in the regional policy making. On the other hand, we are expecting support for capacity building of the communities like pastors community, farmers communities, and other groups of the Nyeleni movement, so that they get aware of their rights and they're aware of their role for the economy, for the culture, for the environment of their countries, and how they can develop their indigenous knowledge, practices, and to enhance their livelihoods. And of course, it is an opportunity, as I've already mentioned, to learn from other communities, because we have some of good example or successful example in some countries where the pastoralist communities or other marginalized communities or groups, they could have policies for their favors in their countries. So we can learn from these examples and try to adapt to our situation in our countries.
Can you describe in short answers what are the successful stories with the pastoral community in Jordan? One successful story.
I think this is a customer, the resilience of the pastoralist community, which is dependent on mobility. Currently, people, they travel for other places, for example, for tourism. If you are living, for example, in these cold countries, in winter you try to go to the warm countries for tourism.
Yeah.
For the mobile indigenous people and pastoralists, they move seasonally from place to place, tracing the grass or the feed for their animals, and at the same time, good condition for living. For example, the pastoralist people, they are not much using fuel for energy, because they always try to be in places where it is warm and there is no need for example, heat. And when it is, for example, in summertime, where they can face hot season, they usually go to the mountains where there is still grass there or feed for their animals, and at the same time they don't need to pay for ACs. Of course, they don't have ACs, but I mean, if they stay and they are resident in these warm, hot areas, they will need this kind of using energy or heating. So this is, cooling systems, and this will add for the pollution, and it is an extra cost for them. At the same time, the mobility itself is a way of responsive. It is a responsive way and respect the ecosystem, because if we are staying at the same place, grazing on the same place for all the year, then we'll damage the ecosystem. But we leave this system for a while, for like few months, go to another area to graze our animals, give it the time to rest and regenerate. Then maybe after one season or 1 year or 2 years, it depends, we come back, the system is regenerating and is good for to support our animals and support our needs.
Okay, thank you so much, sir, for joining with us.
Yeah, welcome.
So we hope you have a great time with the Third Nyeleni Global Forum.
Thank you so much. Thank you for. Thank you.